Revelation 13 gives us an outline of Satan's end-time plan, a one-world government, a one-world religion, and a one-world economic system. Are there world leaders in place right now that have already begun to move the world in the direction of the Great Reset, fulfilling this prophecy in the Bible? Let's talk about it. Welcome to End of the Age. I'm Vince Stegall here with Doug Norvell. We're so excited that you have joined us today. We've got a hot topic to bring to you today, and there's a lot of Bible prophecy to go along with it. Lots going on in the world. We have a couple of video clips that will be absolutely mind-blowing to many of you. They are ones that I had never seen until Doug brought them to the table today, and I think it's going to blow your mind and shed some light on what's going on in our world right this moment, not just with world leaders that you know, but there are leaders over those world leaders that are speaking into the lives of presidents and kings and other leaders of world organizations, and they are guiding these men and women that are leading the world, and they are establishing some things and some principles that are actually quite shocking unless you know Bible prophecy, Doug.
Right.
And we know Bible prophecy.
Yes, we do. We do know Bible prophecy. And, it's like you said, some of this is a little mind-blowing because you think, how can we be there already? But here we are, and we're going to talk about some interesting things today. But we shouldn't be surprised by it because it is, outlined in Revelation chapter 13. We have an idea of what Satan's plan for the end time is, with a one-world government, a one-world religious system, and a one-world economic system. And so it's very interesting, the things that are being spoken out loud. And this, what we revealed today, it's interesting because it was actually talked about in 2017, but the video was just released.
What does that mean? It's like we've got, like the video was just released as in it was leaked, or was it?
Yeah, it was leaked apparently, and so there's an article that goes along with it that we'll get into. But the thing about it is you've got Klaus Schwab, who is head of the World Economic Forum, talking about this stuff in 2017, before COVID ever hit. They were already planning, hey, we've got to plan a way for this great reset to happen. And they actually talk about it. So it's interesting that this crisis came along.
Are you making up that phrase, the Great Reset, or is that what they're using?
That's what they call it. So, yeah, this is their terminology. It was something he talked about that long ago. That's what blew my mind. Yeah. When I saw that this was a leaked footage from 2017 and the things they're talking about, the leaders they're talking about that are in place now, it's very interesting. So I don't want to give away too much before we get into it, but man, it kind of got me pumped up when I saw it. And, I wanted to make sure that we were able to share it and get some video footage out there so they could hear it straight from the mouths of these folks that are doing this.
Well, the part that really blows my mind is the phrases that they use, as if it's just like, this is what it is, and it's not like, we know this is going to shock you, but we want to have a great reset. And in that great reset, we're going to establish a world government system and a world economic system and a whatever system.
Yeah.
It's like they're not acting shy about this. It's like, this is what's coming for you. This is what's coming for you, and we aren't going to disguise it in any way. We're calling it the Great Reset. If you don't understand what that means, they're probably not talking to you, and they're just making it so plain. And it's stuff that I'm watching going, at one point, not that long ago, this would have been considered taboo, or like this would be on some futuristic movie that it's never going to, it's like Star Trek, like it's never going to be like this.
Right.
And you think it's sci-fi, but it's actually like in the works.
Yeah.
And they're not just talking about it as some lofty dream for 2050. This is like,
it's here.
In a couple of years. All the systems are in place. All the people are in place.
Yeah.
We got to flip a few switches, get a few votes to go a certain way. Boom, here we are. It's activated and everyone's in alignment. Society is okay with it. And in fact, not only do they want it, but they're going to shame others into coming along with it.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I mean, that's exactly what's going on here. So very interesting that, you made a comment there and you said that they're not hiding it. They're just kind of blatantly coming out and saying it. But there are still people, Vince, that don't even have a clue as to what's going on. I mean, I was talking to some people just the other day that they had no idea any of this is happening. And they're like, when I talked about the Great Reset, they're like, the Great what? What are you talking about? And so there are just so many people right now that are just struggling through life and just trying to get day by day, I think, that they just don't even know. And of course, we are more attuned to it because we know what's going on and we know what the Bible says and we know what to look for. So
the average person, though, I mean, you're spending hours every single day reading news articles, studying Bible prophecy, talking to people about what it all means. Right. And so the average person is not investing the time that you are into it every single day. And so that's the whole, one of the big reasons why we're here, right. Because we realize other people can't dedicate this time because they work a job where they can't do it or whatever the case may be. Right. And so we're here to give you the treetops of what's going on in the world and tell you what's going on in Bible prophecy and how they align. And hopefully you'll get more engaged in this type of stuff and get involved with Jerusalem Prophecy College, End of the Age Plus, all that stuff, so you can be educated. So when these things come up, you have peace. You don't have the anxiety that many people deal with because of what's going on in the world, but you can have peace. It's available for you. Yes, you. I'm talking to you. We've got thousands of people listening from around the world. I'm talking to you. This peaceful life that we have available to us through Jesus is available for you. And it doesn't matter what's going on in our world, you can have access to it. And that's what we're really trying to get you to, is having this peace and understanding that we find in Jesus Christ. And that way, when the end times are developing all around us, like we're seeing right now, you don't have to have chaos and anxiety and all these fears come over you, because we know what's coming and we know whose side we're on. And when you're on Jesus' side, it doesn't matter what comes your way, because Jesus is the majority. And when you're serving Him, we'll go through trials, we'll go through tribulation, but we win ultimately. And I'm excited about that, and I'm thankful for the truth that we have. We are getting ready to go to a break. We do have some clips to show you on the other side of the break. We want you to stay tuned for that. If you want to join Doug and I on the air, the number to join us is 877 Endtime. That's 877-363-8463. We look forward to you calling and getting on the air with us.
Hi, I'm Judy Baxter. When Irvin and I got married, we didn't realize that our calling would be a prophetic ministry. Since we started Endtime Ministries, there have been many times we weren't sure how we would pay the bills, but God has always provided. We started with a magazine, then went on radio and TV, and now we have the Jerusalem Prophecy College in Israel and online and End of the Age Plus. The mission has always been to reach people with the gospel of Jesus Christ and the end time message. Through the years, my husband would say, we will see revival like never before in the last days. We are living in the end time now. Thank you for walking this journey with us and continuing in prayer. You are a part of the team. Thank you for your generous support. It is necessary for God's purpose. The most important thing is that you are ready when the Lord comes. Our hope is to help prepare you for that day. God bless you, and we love you.
Major internet companies are silencing and censoring Christian voices online. These companies are trying to control what you see and hear. Almost 200 videos of ours have been marked as restricted online right now. That's why we launched End of the Age Plus, a platform where the truth won't be censored, a platform where we can preach the message of the gospel. When you subscribe to End of the Age Plus today for just $12.99 a month, you can watch all of our content in a secure, easy-to-view way from your favorite device. When you go to watch.endtime.com and subscribe, you'll get instant access to all of our teaching resources, including Revelation, the Unveiling of Jesus Christ, Understanding the End Time, End Time Magazine, and so much more. We will not censor our message to comply with what the world deems as politically correct. Go to watch.endtime.com right now or search End of the Age Plus in the App Store or Google Play.
Welcome back to End of the Age. Vince Stegall here with Doug Norvell. We have open lines at 877 End Time, 877-363-8463. I do want to remind you that Dave and Jana will be in Justin, Texas this coming weekend, Saturday, February 5th at 6 p.m. and Sunday, February 6th at 10 a.m. If you are in the Justin, Texas area, make plans to join us there. Dave will be talking about the Antichrist socialistic kingdom and breaking prophecy news, so you don't want to miss Saturday night or Sunday morning. You can learn more about the conference at endtime.com/events, or you can give us a call at 800-END-TIME, 800-363-8463. We would love to see you there. Come out and meet Dave and Jana. It'll be a great time. Always a good time there in Justin. So Justin, Texas area, come out and join us. Also, we've got some clips to get to here in a moment. They are absolutely eye-opening, in my opinion. I think everyone should watch these and perhaps have some commentary on them to help explain what's going on. That's what we're going to try to do today. So if you're on Facebook or YouTube or wherever you're watching, go ahead and share this video or radio station now. Call a friend, let them know where we're at. We've got some information coming in the next few moments that's absolutely eye-opening, and will revolutionize the way some people think. So that could be your friend or family member. So hit share on Facebook, hit the heart icon, help us out by getting the message out, and help somebody's life change today. Go ahead and share now. It'll help us out greatly. All right, Doug, Revelation chapter 13, starting in verse 1 says, "And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast, and they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him?"
Okay, so the really important thing about this scripture, Vince, is we're trying to help everybody understand that there's going to be an established one world government in the end time. And this one world government is going to be led by the Antichrist, and that Antichrist and the one world government receives its power from Satan. So that's what's important to understand where this is coming from. Some of this may sound like a great idea sometimes to people, but when you understand that this is the plan of the devil to enslave people of the earth, you're going to get to a point where you start to see this begin to take shape. So we need to understand where the one world government, the Antichrist, and their power comes from Satan, and that this is his ideology that is behind what is being talked about today. So think about that with that kind of mindset, knowing that this is going to be about complete control, and it's going to be about power that's going to be given to that one world entity of the one world beast and the Antichrist.
Let's get into this article, Doug. With that lens, you've set the lens on how we should look at this. So this article, and it's part of this video that we said is 5 years old now, but it was just released. Apparently someone found it, or we don't know exactly how that worked, but it wasn't publicized and pushed out all over the internet when it occurred.
Right.
It is being spread now, but this article goes in and it's talking about the Great Reset, and globalist Klaus Schwab explains government takeover of industry in unearthed video. So it starts by saying the Fourth Industrial Revolution and Great Reset, Architect Clause, Klaus Schwab, discussed the World Economic Forum's ongoing private sector takeover. Private sector takeover. Did you say power earlier?
Yes.
Takeover sounds a lot like power.
Yes, it does.
Called for a universal basic income promoting transhumanism. Can we hit on that for a sec? I know we're going to get into detail later. Yeah. Transhumanism sounds crazy right out of the gate. Sounds like something someone would call misinformation.
Yeah.
What in the world is transhumanism?
Oh man, that's what is going to be so incredible, I think, to people, and make your jaw kind of drop open when we talk about that a little bit more, because it does sound something like you would see in a sci-fi movie, or it sounds like something we're making up here. But they're definitely talking about it. In 2017, they were talking about it.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll get into transhumanism a little bit more here, because we've got a video that explains it pretty well. So we'll get into that a little bit more, but just keep that in your mind right now as he continues with this article.
All right. It promoted transhumanism and celebrated his young global leaders. So can we hit on that? What is that?
So the Young Global Leaders is a school. It's a foundation, actually, that Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum leaders has. And many of our political leaders that are in power right now have gone through this school. Okay, and
so
not
Klaus
just
Schwab,
political leaders, but even like social media leaders, business leaders in the world.
Like who? Who's a business leader? Elon Musk?
You know, I didn't see his name, so I can't say that for certain, but I did see some other people that we'll talk about later in this.
All right, so either way, Klaus Schwab is being a guide to these world leaders, whether they lead politically or in business.
Right.
And he's promoting the transhumanism, celebrated as young global leaders infiltrating government cabinets in an unearthed video from September 2017. The World Economic Forum leaders' comments bragging about penetrating government cabinets through his Young Global Leaders program received the most attention, but there was much more to his comments in the full video, and that's featured in this article. Klaus Schwab, we're only going to show a clip of that, but it's like an hour-long video. Klaus Schwab's remarks were made during the 2017 Malcolm H. Weiner Lecture on International Political Economy titled Strengthening Collaboration in a Fractured World at the Harvard Kennedy School. One quick look at the Malcolm Weiner Center website reveals that Harvard University is unapologetically and militantly radical left. The discussion, which also featured globalist cellist Yo-Yo Ma, was moderated by David Gurgin. Gurgin is a founding director of the Center for Public Leadership at the Harvard Kennedy School of Government, who has served under several presidents. Dean of Faculty Doug Elmendorf introduced Klaus Schwab, explaining that the mission of the World Economic Forum is about improving the state of the world through public-private cooperation.
Now, before we go to the video, I want to just make this clear too, because one of the things they talked about that we did not put here, you can go and you can see this entire article, but one of the things that they talked about was that taking over these private businesses. So basically they want to run large corporations that play ball with the World Economic Forum and the Great Reset. They want to reward them, and it talks about it in the article, but what they wanted to do is destroy the privately owned businesses. Now think about when COVID first hit, what happened and who was pushing it so hard. They closed down everything. Our economy and many private owned stores, businesses were shut down, and they lost their businesses. So just kind of remember that. That's in the article too. We're not getting into that part of it today, but they talked about it in 2017, folks. Before COVID ever hit, they had this plan in order. So now, if you're ready, I'm ready for the video.
I guess I'm ready.
All right, let's see it.
Thank you, Klaus. We're definitely privileged and thankful that you've come back, and we want to thank you not only for what you've done for this school, but what you've done for the world. You've devoted your life to making the world a better place, something which goes to the heart of what the Kennedy School is all about. It's been striking to us as we've had the pleasure, and this goes back to Dean Elwood, that when you brought the Young Global Leaders Program here for executive education and then the Schwab Fellows. But there are 2 countries in the world now in which the young global leaders have emerged. Tell us just a bit about that in terms of the governance.
Yes, actually, this notion to integrate young leaders is part of the World Economic Forum since many years. And I have to say, when I mention now names like Mrs. Merkel, even Vladimir Putin and so on, they all have been young global leaders of the World Economic Forum. Mm-hmm. But what we are very proud of now is the young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, President of Argentina and so on, that we penetrate the cabinets. So yesterday I was at a reception for Prime Minister Trudeau, and I know that half of this cabinet, or even more half of this cabinet, are actually young global leaders of the World Economic Forum.
And that's true in Argentina too. Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's true in Argentina as well.
It's true in Argentina, and it's true in France now. Mm-hmm. I'm with the president, who is a young global leader. But what is important for me is those young global leaders have an opportunity to come here.
Right.
And we have established a course now since several years. And I think this cooperation has a tremendous impact, because being here for a week really creates a strong community. And we, in addition to the young global leaders, we have now the global shapers in 450 cities around the world. I just wonder, is there any global shaper here? Yeah, you see global shapers here. What is astonishing is to see how those young people really have a different mindset, and I have great admiration, because when I have a group of global shapers in the room and I ask them, are you thinking in global terms or in national terms? The majority would say in global terms. Mm. If I ask them what is more important for you, to make money or to serve society, certainly 80% would raise their hand and would say serving society.
Okay, Vince, so think about this for a second, because he mentioned a lot of global leaders. He mentioned Angela Merkel, the head of Germany. He mentioned Vladimir Putin. He talked about, he didn't name him by name, but he said the president of France.
Who is that, by the way?
That's Emmanuel Macron.
Okay.
So here's one of the things that I want us to kind of think about. A lot of these names that he mentioned are in power right now, but before we knew anything about them, we didn't know anything about them. They were unheard of. I never heard of Emmanuel Macron before he won the election in France. Now I hear that name all the time. It just makes me wonder, is it a prerequisite for these people to make it to where they are, to go through this school, to go through the Young Global Leaders School with the World Economic Forum? Who's really calling the shots behind some of this stuff? There's other names there that I wanted to mention too and talk about, but like that article said, he was gloating about this. That he said he went to see Trudeau, who is the Prime Minister in Canada right now, and there's a lot of things going on there in and of itself. You know, they had the huge truck driver protest where all the truckers were going in there, miles and miles of these trucks going in there to protest this COVID situation they've got there. Well, one of the guys was on Tucker Carlson, and he said that their new passport, when he pulled up, he was going to show it to the guy at the border, the Border Patrol officer, and he said, "Oh, that's okay, I don't need it. You registered as soon as your truck started driving in. We picked your phone up and we saw all your information." And that blew the guy's mind, because he's like, they're already using this as a way to track us. They told us that you wouldn't be tracked with the passport, the COVID passport, but yet they're already using it to do that in Canada. So that's a whole nother topic. I just wanted to mention that. That's something that's going on in Trudeau's neck of the woods right now. So what are they trying to push? They're trying to push this great reset, and Trudeau is one of the people that graduated from this school. Other people.
And he said more than half of his cabinet.
Yeah. Well, as he looked around, half of his cabinet were graduates from his school.
Yeah.
And this is an American institution that he's at talking about this. And he said they've got 490 cities where they've got these young global leaders set up in places. And he's very proud of that. And there were people in the audience. So they're shaping these young minds into a global mindset. He said, are you thinking nationally or are you thinking globally? And they're all thinking globally. They're not thinking about, making money anymore.
It's evil to think nationally.
Yeah, you can't do that anymore. And you can't think about your own personal gain. It needs to be a collective. It needs to be a socialist mindset. So there's other people involved in this. I'm sorry, I'm kind of moving fast because I'm kind of pumped up about it, and it just really gets me riled up. But other people whose names were not mentioned here, but that you can find when you begin to search, is Jacinda Ardern, who is the Prime Minister of New Zealand. Remember what New Zealand's going through right now, similar to Australia, the lockdowns and everything that's happening there. California Governor Gavin Newsom. Okay, so think about California and all the things that they're being mandated to do. Microsoft's Bill Gates, Amazon's Jeff Bezos, Tony Blair, who is over the Tony Blair Foundation now, which before was the Prime Minister of England at one point. Chelsea Clinton, who is, the Clinton's daughter, Chelsea Clinton.
Don't talk bad about her, please.
No, she's over the Clinton Foundation. She's always also been through it. And then Mark Zuckerberg, who is in charge of Facebook, or Meta now, as it's called. So very influential people have been through this school.
We are going on a break, but think about that while we're gone. Pretty interesting stuff. We have another video clip on the other side, but we're also going to be getting to your calls. You can join us at 877-Endtime, 877-363-8463.
Whether it's a global pandemic, threat of war, or floundering economies, end-time events are happening around the world every day. How can you have peace in a world of such great uncertainty? With the Endtime magazine subscription, you can gain a deeper understanding of current events and its prophesied repercussions. Endtime magazine's exclusive content and prophetic insight allows you to understand where we are in the end time. It will give you peace when horrific news and events happen. When you subscribe today to Endtime magazine for 12 months for just $19.99, you can have hope for the future because you will understand what the Bible says about the time we are living in. You'll get access to exclusive articles like the Prophesied American-Israeli Alliance, Endtime Do's and Don'ts, and Could School Choice Save America? Subscribe for you or a friend right now. Go to endtime.com or call 1-800-ENDTIME. That's 1-800-ENDTIME.
The symbols and prophecies within the book of Revelation have perplexed Christians and unbelievers around the world. In his final work, Revelation, The Unveiling of Jesus Christ Part 2, the late Irvin Baxter unlocks the mystery of the book of Revelation with in-depth analysis and commentary like you've never heard before. These comprehensive study tools, available for $299, will deepen your biblical understanding. Don't miss this special offer. Call 1-800-ENDTIME or go to endtime.com.
If your station only carries the first 30 minutes of End of the Age, go to endtime.com and click the watch button to continue today's broadcast. You can also finish up later by clicking the archive button.
Welcome back to End of the Age. Open lines at 877-ENDTIME, 877-363-8463. We'll be getting to your calls here in a moment. As we sat here and listened to those commercials, it was so weird hearing the late Irvin Baxter. Me and Doug were just talking about it briefly. I told him it seems less real now than it did 6 months ago for some reason. It's just really, actually, I don't dream a whole lot. If I do, I don't remember it. But last week I had 2 dreams and he was in them. And it was like, like singing. Like that's not what most people he would be in their dream doing, but he was like singing in one of my dreams. And
I'd be hoping he'd be telling me something.
No, it wasn't anything. It certainly wasn't anything like that. It was just singing one of those songs that nobody knew the lyrics to.
Oh, there you go. Sweet
but,
memories.
Those. It seems less real now than it did 6 months ago, like I said, and so we certainly miss him every day here at Endtime Ministries. We know all of you do as well, and so Endtime is. We were flooded a few months after he passed away, and Endtime looks way different. I can only imagine what he would think if he walked in. Right now it's a construction zone, so who knows, but I think he would be excited about the revival that's coming and how Endtime is gearing up to help with that revival, to reach people from all over the world, no matter what government mandates get put in place, no matter what censorship takes place. Endtime and all the partners of Endtime that have been with us for so long are gearing up to reach our communities around the world, and we're so excited about that revival coming. We're so thankful for your partnership. One thing that you all provide is this show being free every single weekday. It's totally free to watch on social media, on our website, on End of the Age Plus, on the radio, and even on television. This program reaches over a month's time hundreds of thousands of people around the world, totally free, and it's all because of your partnership. So if you appreciate what Endtime is doing and you want to join up with us in partnership to help continue to make this show available for free, go to endtime.com/give and partner with us. One-time gifts are so much appreciated, and also people can sign up, many do, to be recurring givers, and so every month at a certain day it'll draft a transaction for you. But it's that support that helps us do this for totally free, and we're so thankful for your partnership. It means a great deal to all of us that work here at Endtime and all the people around the world that watch us every single day, that read our materials. One thing we don't really talk about a lot is what we're doing in prisons. We have many prisoners that we're connected with and we're sending resources to. And so we're thankful because your partnership makes that possible. We pray for you every single morning. If you have a prayer request, you can submit that at endtime.com/contact, and our team will mention your name and your need in prayer. But yeah, I'm just so thankful as I think back over the years of how you've supported and partnered with us, with Irvin Baxter here at Endtime Ministries, and now that he has passed on and gone to his reward, you continue to be partnered with us, and we're so thankful for that. So thank you so much. All of us here at Endtime and the people that watch us every day are so thankful for your generosity. Now, we left on this article that's absolutely mind-blowing to me, Doug, but we were talking about how Chelsea Clinton, Tony Blair, Gavin Newsom, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, all these people and the many, many more that are part of this young global leaders group. Yeah. And they're being guided by people who have globalist agenda that starts looking a lot like what the Bible says is coming.
Yeah, absolutely. And it makes you wonder, could we see the prophesied Antichrist come out of this school? Could he be a product of this school and this mindset? And of course, I believe he could. So, because, we're watching some of those leaders that he discussed are in some of those places where they have the most totalitarian government set up right now, and pushing mandates to where they still have their communities locked down and have people under their control right now because of the COVID situation. So a lot of the names that he named are people that are doing that right now. So I see that we could see the Antichrist come from that school of thinking there. Now, this is where the article gets interesting to me, Vince, and kind of weird. And a lot of people are going to think that we're making stuff up, but this is what they said, so it's very interesting.
It says, Klaus Schwab said in 2016, okay, 6 years, this is ancient news at this point.
Yeah.
2016, that his so-called fourth industrial revolution will lead to a fusion of our physical, digital, and biological identities. That sounds creepy.
Yes.
The so-called technological wave includes the Internet of Things, which connects household items and will eventually be connected to individuals through their clothes, skin, and even brains. This is all according to Schwab.
Yeah, Klaus Schwab said this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's teaching world leaders this,
Yes.
and telling them
Absolutely.
this is what we need in the world, and they're
Yeah.
going, this is what we need in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Also in 2016, he explained that this fusion will ultimately lead to chips being put in people's brains. Now, people think we're crazy because we say this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Irvin Baxter started preaching this in the 50s, 60s, I don't remember when it was, early.
Yeah.
And people saying he's crazy, people saying we're crazy for saying it as well. And here this guy, not a Bible prophecy teacher, not some doomsday prophet standing on the side of the road with a big sign saying the end is near.
Right.
It's not who we're talking
The
about.
president of the World Economic Forum.
Yes,
Very interesting.
it will lead to chips being put in people's brains. This concept is largely known as transhumanism. During his remarks at the Harvard Kennedy School, he reiterated this sentiment by saying, if we look at this revolution, it is not characterized by one technology. You have so many technologies. You have nanotechnology, brain research. You have, you name it. In essence, in the long run, what is very essential is to see if this new revolution will lead to a fusion of our biological, our digital, and our material existence.
Yeah, so that's Klaus Schwab saying these things that seem outrageous, because we've heard people, how much have we heard about a particular situation that's going on right now that I'm not going to talk about, but everybody knows what I'm talking about, having nanotechnology in it and them being able to manipulate things because of nanotechnology. He actually talks about nanotechnology in this article. Like we said, that has been surfaced. Someone brought it to the surface for people to find out about. So this whole transhumanism, if they were able to put an implant in our brain, he's talking about the Internet of Things. They're talking about now 5G technology that we have. Some people talk about how the 5G technology could be used for this particular type of things. And the next article we've got is even more mind-blowing. And I really want to talk about it a little bit because it gets into something where they're talking about thought control here, people. They're talking about being able to find out when you're going to commit a crime before you commit a crime. This sounds like 1984. Okay, so this comes from where, Vince?
News Punch.
Yeah.
But they're quoting Klaus Schwab in this. It says that he predicts the incentive for law enforcement to implement Minority Report style pre-crime programs is coming. He says, as capabilities in this area improve, the temptation for law enforcement agencies and courts to use techniques to determine the likelihood of criminal activity.
Yeah.
So predictions.
Yeah, before it's ever even done. This guy's going to commit a crime. We can tell.
Yeah. Assess guilt or even possibly retrieve memories. Retrieve memories.
Yeah.
This can't be a well-respected world leader.
Right.
This is crazy talk. Apparently.
It would be conspiracy theory.
If I said all this.
Right. If we were talking about it on our show and not reading an article.
The fact checker's mind would explode if we said it.
It would.
Or even possibly retrieve memories directly from people's brains will increase. He wrote that. Yeah. Even crossing a national border might one day involve a detailed brain scan to assess an individual's security risk. Schwab also waxes lyrical about the transhumanist utopian dream shared by all elitists, which will ultimately lead to the creation of human cyborgs.
He says all elitists there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also says human cyborgs.
Yeah.
Fourth industrial revolution technologies will not stop at becoming the part of a physical world around us. They will become part of us. Indeed, some of us already feel that our smartphones have become an extension of ourselves. Today's external devices, from wearable computers to virtual reality headsets, will almost certainly become implantable in our bodies and brains. Schwab also openly endorses something the media still claims is solely a domain of discussion for conspiracy theorists, namely active implantable microchips that break the skin barrier of our bodies. That is just conspiracy theorist, but he embraces it. Doug, we've got less than 4 minutes. The video we want to show is 2 minutes long. If we're going to play it, we need to play it now or wait until after the break. What do you want to do?
let's wait till after the break. Let's talk about.
Oh, it's such a good one.
I know, but let's just talk about what he said there for a
Okay.
second, because he talked about active implantable microchips.
Yes.
Sounds a lot like Revelation 13, right? It sounds like Revelation 13, 16 through 18. You want to read that?
Do you mind reading it?
I will.
I'm trying to get these articles on endtime.com
I got
so
you.
we can tell people to go there and read them.
Okay, Revelation 13, 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he have the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here's wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and the number is 666. Sounds like the mark of the beast is what he's talking about. It sounds like that type of technology. Now, this is a man who is shaping the mind of global leaders, and now he's talking about we need transhumanism. We need this in the world so that we can have people walking around who are virtually robots that we can control, and we can get them to do whatever we want them to do.
Doug, you sound like a crazy person.
I know it. That's what makes it so mind-blowing today, is we are going to see, when we come back from this break in a minute, Vince, we're going to see something that is mind-blowing, because this is from the words of the people themselves, the mouths of the people themselves. A doctor that's respected and connected to Klaus Schwab talking about things like never waste a good crisis, and use this opportunity, seize this opportunity. People will look back at the moment that they remember COVID-19, and they will remember when this surveillance was put in place. We're going to hear talk like that in a minute.
Well, we say that now. Like, remember the airports before 9/11?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like literally the days after 9/11, major shifts occurred.
Yeah.
And I know you remember it. Mm-hmm. There's people that are younger than me don't remember it, but I remember it. I guess I was 14 then, roughly. Yeah. So, but I remember life before that, not as well as adults would have. But it's a shift, and they're suggesting that this is, we'll look back at COVID like that.
Yeah, there's going to be another shift where we look and we see how our lives have changed. And we're going to look back at that moment, and we're going to realize, wow, this was the starting point of that. This is where we lost more control. This is where we lost more of our freedoms. The interesting thing about it, Vince, when he talks about the elites, I made a comment about that a while ago. Many times we talk about elitists and we talk about things like that, and people think that's conspiracy theory. But he talked about it.
He did.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Stay tuned, man. You're not going to want to miss this video, trust me.
And we will get to your calls. Sorry to push you back for all the callers. We will get to your calls after the break. Join us. You can as well. There are open lines at 877-ENDTIME, 877-363-8463. We look forward to talking with you after the break.
I've been part of the Endtime family from the beginning over 30 years ago when my parents, Irvin and Judy Baxter, began the ministry from the recliner in our living room. My name is Jana Robbins. I have the pleasure of connecting with our incredible partners every day. Endtime is a small nonprofit that runs a high-traffic website, a daily TV and radio show, the Prophecy College in Jerusalem, and more. Although we have less than 30 team members, we are able to serve tens of millions of people each month. We survive on the goodness of God and donations averaging about $50. If everyone hearing this message gave $22, our financial needs would be met for the year. If you only give to one cause per month, please consider partnering with Endtime to help get the message of our soon-coming King out to the world. Call us at 1-800-ENDTIME to give today, or go to endtime.com to become a monthly or one-time partner.
Welcome back to End of the Age. Vince Stegall here with Doug Norvell. Open lines at 877-363-8463. We've been talking about this article featuring Klaus Schwab, and the video clip that we played earlier, it's somewhere around an hour long. We just played a few minutes of it. You can go to endtime.com, scroll down just a little bit under the Prophecy News section on the homepage, and the first article there which is titled Great Reset, Globalist Klaus Schwab Explains Government Takeover of Industry, is right there for you to read. You can read the whole article and watch the entire video by going there and following the link. Also, the article that we just mentioned about transhumanism, and we're going to play a clip from that here in a second, will be posted there very soon as well. So both of the articles that we feature today are at endtime.com on the homepage. Doug, we have this video. Do you want to go straight to it now?
Yeah.
You want to set it up a little bit and just kind of recap what we were talking about?
Well, what this is it's going to be an interview with a doctor who is talking about the very thing that Klaus Schwab was talking about, this transhumanism, and where they can go with it. Listen very closely to the words he chooses and the things he says, and it is mind-boggling.
Humans are now hackable animals. You know, the whole idea that humans have, you know, this, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over. Free will, that's over.
That's over.
Over. Today, we have the technology to hack human beings on a massive scale. Yeah, I mean, everything is being digitalized. Everything is being monitored. In this time of crisis, you have to follow science. It's often said that you should never allow a good crisis to go to waste, because a crisis is an opportunity to also do good reforms that in normal times people will never agree to. But in a crisis, you see, we have no chance. So let's do it.
Vaccine won't help us go
the
to the
vaccine
test, of course.
will help us, of course. It will make things, you know, more manageable.
Surveillance. People could look back in 100 years and identify the coronavirus epidemic as the moment when a new regime of surveillance took over, especially surveillance under the skin, which I think is maybe the most important development of the 21st century, is this ability to hack human beings, to go under the skin, collect biometric data, analyze it, and understand people better than they understand themselves. This, I believe, is maybe the most important event of the 21st century.
By hacking organisms, elites may gain the power to re-engineer the future of life itself. Because once you can hack something, you can usually also engineer it.
Natural selection is replaced by intelligent design. The era of inorganic life is now beginning.
In the coming decades, AI and biotechnology will give us godlike abilities to re-engineer life and even to create completely new life forms. We are about to enter a new era of inorganic life shaped by intelligent design. Our intelligent design.
Wow. That's pretty crazy. So not only are they talking about making us more godlike with this technology that they can put into your body, but they're talking about creating life from nothing through AI and giving it this understanding and this capability of being able to be human as well. I mean,
I can't even really wrap my brain around that. Like, as much as they want to wrap my brain around that,
yeah,
literally, I can't get there. I don't get it, and it's very creepy, but also starts sounding an awful lot like Bible prophecy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And these guys are not theologians. These guys are not into the word like that. So that's what even makes it more creepy. You know, I've been raised around this. I've been in plenty of services where the rapture could happen tonight.
Yeah.
And you need to get ready and all this stuff. Right. And then I've been around, just the general that the rapture's not happening tonight, but the end times are upon us and these things are coming, and you go, yeah, but man, it's kind of a long way away. And then I remember when these grocery stores started doing self-checkout. That was like the first big thing in my memory. And it's like, oh my word, you don't need a cashier because you just slide your card in,
yeah, and
you're done. And now we're eliminating humans in the process. And it's all just kind of sped up from there. It's absolutely insane where we're at now, where, at one point in our history, You could go to the movie store and rent a VHS tape. You had to return it rewound, or else you might pay a fee. But you had to interact with humans and go there in person and do this. And now you subscribe to End of the Age Plus, and you can watch it, stream it anywhere in the world with any device.
Leave your home.
No human involvement. It's unbelievable where we're at as a society.
Yeah, it is. And the technology, it continues to increase and continues to take us one step further. This, to me, Vince, just 2 years ago, or let's just go back to 2017 when he was talking about it, I would have said, that's never going to happen. That's ridiculous. And one of the things, they even talked about in the article, not in this video, but Klaus Schwab talked about the headset that you'll wear and the things like that. Well, that's what Meta is about, wearing the headset and disappearing into this world that exists within the computer. It's not even it's a virtual world that you live in. Well, that kind of stuff is easier for me to understand than to think about transhumanism, and they want to put microchips in me, and they want to be able to understand my thinking and control my thinking. And you heard what he said. He said that free will thing's out the window. He even talked about our soul.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to have souls.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff is strange.
I can picture, Zuckerberg went to that young leaders deal.
His name was on the list.
I can see and I'm not saying this happened, I'm just making it up, that I could see this as very likely occurring. Schwab going, Zuckerberg, whatever they call each other, you have the platform to implement this. This is what the world needs, and you have the platform to do it. And it's a heavy burden and a heavy responsibility, but are you going to step up and use the platform that the universe has given you to implement what's good for society? And I could see all the things going on in his brain going, we do have the platform. Maybe it didn't happen that way, but I could see it being that way.
Well, it's just amazing how you can look at what we've learned today and see how all this is intermingled together, how it's all just one big thing. It's like they're already part of a collective, and they want to make us part of that collective as well. It's very strange. Man, I hope that people understand the magnitude of the things that were talked about today.
It's absolutely crazy, and it's not that crazy at the same time, because the Bible said these days are coming, and so we shouldn't be shocked by it. But it is shocking at the same time, because you think it wouldn't be this way. Maybe there's a different way that it can come. But apologies to all our callers. We've lost a few because we've taken so much time to get to you all. We're so sorry for that. We are going to go to the calls now. If you want to join the show, join us by calling 877-363-8463. If you call right now, you will more than likely get in. But let's go to Marcia in Texas. Marcia, welcome to End of the Age.
Hi, Vince.
Hello. How are you today?
All I was calling for was to give my opinion.
All right. Let's hear it.
And I know that one of the things that was said was that they believe that everything they're doing is going to be godlike. And we all know it's not. It's satanic-like.
Right.
And I had a niece with some kids that were going to college at one time a few years ago. They came home telling her about many of these things, and she called me crying on the phone, and I didn't really know how to comfort her, because back then I didn't know about any of this, but I learned it all, and I've had to call her and talk to her since then, and it's heartbreaking, but I really don't believe that God's going to sit back and let this happen.
Okay, what do you mean you don't believe God's going to let what happen?
All of this that they're talking about.
Transhumanism and such?
Oh, yeah.
Well, we definitely know that there's going to be a world government and a mark of the beast and things like that. And this sounds like that's the type of thing that they're trying to set up. It's a system that they want to set up, and they're trying to get everybody thinking how cool it will be to be like a god, how cool it will be to be like a robot and have strength and have like mental capabilities that you never had before, and all these things.
That sounds a lot like a story I read about in the Bible, right? In the opening opening chapter.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I guess it was the third chapter.
You know, I mean, that was what Vince is alluding to is Satan's goal. I mean, that's, you know, Satan wanted to be like God, and that's what these people are talking about. And so we're starting to see that play out. And, you know, it's the whole reason why Satan had lost his place as one of the lead cherubims in heaven was because he wanted to be like God. And we're seeing them try to do this same thing here. So, interesting information, to say the least.
We appreciate your perspective, and you know, we always enjoy hearing from the callers, so thank you so much for joining us, Marcia. We will go to Joe in New York. Joe, welcome to End of the Age.
You guys look beautiful.
Oh, well, thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
It's probably my haircut, right?
Now, listen to me. I'm going to try to hit some key points and get right to the point. Did you hear that woman? Did you hear that woman? See, a lot of believers don't want to believe what's already in the Scriptures, been there for 2,000 years. We're seeing it unfold. Nothing should be shocking or surprising to us. But here's the thing. Let me hit on some key points. Those knuckleheads that you showed, those videos, they have no idea what they're doing. Right. They are deceived. We got to pray for them. We fight not against flesh or blood. We're fighting against Satan and all his little co-workers. My concerns are, number one, it's not a conspiracy. It's a plan right out in the open. What the conspiracy is within the body of Christ. You've talked about people believing that there's a pre-trib rapture. That's a deception. That's a deception that some little old lady 150 years ago had a dream, and then so much in the body of Christ for the past 150 years has hooked on to that. Do you know what that's going to create? That's going to lead people to think that everything's going to be fine. It's not going to affect them. No, the world is getting crazier every day. Yeah. I live here in the heart of the belly in New York City. I see people's faces. Now, lately, only their eyes, but that's why I walk around preaching in the supermarket. But my number one concern is that you teach the body of Christ the truth, because people are going to start getting frightened. When somebody gets frightened, they're playing cards with Satan, and they can be deceived. That's what I believe a lot of people are going to fall away, because they've been handed a line of goods that are lies. There's nothing in the Scriptures, as you know, about a pre-trib tribulation. We're going to go through it. We have to be prepared, but you have to keep letting the people to know the truth. Jesus said on the cross, "It is finished." He won. My life is hidden with Messiah Jesus in God.
Amen, Joe. We got to cut you off. The show is about to be over. We always appreciate hearing from you. There is a great reset coming that Jesus is going to establish. You can be part of that by going to endtime.com/reborn. Go there right now and read that. You need it.
This has been End of the Age, brought to you by the faithful partners of Endtime Ministries. If you're not currently a partner with Endtime Ministries, or if you would like more information, we invite you to call us at 1-800-ENDTIME. That's 1-800-363-8463, or visit us online at endtime.com.
Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our Facebook page.